Hey there, Dr. Lexi here, and I wanted to teach and show a couple of techniques that I have personally used and that I have taught others to help them manage stress, anxiety, panic, anything where you're just feeling like you need to calm yourself down. So, before I get into that, I just want to share a couple of times I've really needed this. So, I was in a car accident and I got claustrophobia from it, and anyway, from all the airbags and whatnot. And the claustrophobia would trigger in the most strange places I would least expect it. So, like an elevator or a plane or a Ferris wheel. And also I went to Disney World and I was in one of these lines to wait for a ride. And at the time, I had finally worked through quite a bit of the anxiety around claustrophobia and I wanted to kind of stretch myself. So I talk to patients about stretching themselves, which means you're working through something. So you're going to feel a little uncomfortable, but you're working through it because you want to conquer it. You refuse to let your anxiety control you. That's how I felt. I'm like, I do not want to be afraid to drive. I don't want to be afraid to get on an elevator. Like, this is not me. So I really wanted to do everything that I could to really conquer this new fear that I had. It really wasn't a fear. It was deep down from trauma. And that's what happens for many of us. So anyway, yeah. So these particular techniques are all about tapping into your vagus nerve. Okay, so your body's in this fight or flight response. Okay, so it's under this attack in a sense, and you don't know when it's coming. That's usually your panic, those anxiety disorders, or you're under stress. So the professionals, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of pressure coming at you, and you're starting to feel like that anxiety coming on. Maybe it's before a presentation. So this particular technique, I do want to just encourage that, hey, if you've got something and you're standing in a line somewhere, you can easily do this and it not be so obvious. Sometimes it can feel like everybody's watching you, but you can be discreet about it. So here's a technique. So what you're going to do is you've got your collarbones and your this is your collarbone or your clavicle, okay, and then you've got your breastbone or your sternum, and it's where the sternum meets with the collarbone. So you've got the collarbone and then the hard part. So what's going to happen is when you're relaxed and your arms relaxed, you bring your arms up to your chest, and it naturally kind of falls and gets placed on either side of your breastbone or your sternum. And so if we were to look, so if we had the collarbone and then the sternum, we have the fingers, the two fingers here and the two fingers here. Excuse me, I don't have a good shirt here. But the two fingers like that, that's going to be kind of the location that I want you to either tap, or how Dr. Kaufman has taught it is you do the circular motions. I have personally found that tapping or the circular, both of them are fine, and that the circular motion actually tires my arms out. And so I prefer to tap. And this is going to be a little bit of a combination between that emotional freedom tapping or emotional freedom technique, as well as this other vagal technique that Dr. Kaufman teaches. So what you're going to do is you will circle like this, and you don't have to push really hard, and but really activate the surface area here, and or you can tap it. Now what's happening is the vagus nerve, that's your fight or flight response, and it's firing on all cylinders and the panic is setting in. Well, the vagus nerve runs right under that collar or that sternum here. So it's one of the places that you can access the nerve and say, hey, reset. So it's almost like when the power goes out in the house and you go and you find a breaker box and you're clicking the breakers and you're flipping a switch. That's what this is. Okay, so you're going to be either tapping or doing a circular motion. And then there's a second location, which is, I call it the I pledge allegiance location. So it's hand over heart, and then you make a C. So like a C, or you're cupping your hand. So I pledge allegiance and then a C. And then what you do is, again, you can do the circular motion or you can tap. This location right here is a busy location in your anatomy. You've got your lymphatics dumping into this location. You've got your, your aorta coming in and dumping into your heart. And it's just a busy spot, but your vagus nerve is hanging out there too. So when we want to calm this heart space down, and so by placing your hand over your heart and doing some circular motions, or you're going to tap, I like to do the circular motion in this location. I feel better tapping here, but circular here. Okay, so that's location number 2. Location number 3 is a little bit more challenging, and what that is it's at the base of your neck. So you're rubbing your neck because it's tired and it hurts, yeah, but you can feel your bones, and it's the part of the spine that's sticking out the most. It's like that base of your neck, right at the shoulders, and it's the vertebrae that you can feel first. You're going to take your middle finger and you're going to place it on top of that bony province, okay? And then you're going to take the other 2 fingers and just squeeze them together like that, and it's like this. And then what you're doing is you're placing it on your fingers and you're twisting your skin taut like that, okay? So it's going to feel a little awkward because you're having to kind of stretch your all your muscles here, which, by the way, get really tight when we're on our phones or on our computers. So it's really opening up the chest, making you sit up tall, and you're putting your fingers on that base of that spine, and then the other 2 rest, and then you're going to twist the skin like that, and you're going to hold it in place. Okay, so in review, you're here, I pledge allegiance, and then we're locking it in. And locking it in, that's how my fingers kind of look whenever I do that. And so you're going to be circling like this for 30 seconds. You're going to be circling like this for a minute, and then you're going to be holding in the back of your neck for 30 seconds. And you can repeat that 3 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alarm here, and I'm going to walk through it with you. And I'm going to put a timer on, and here we go. So this is for 30 seconds. And you're just circular motioning here. You do not have to press very hard, or you can tap. So you're sitting in that line, or you're on the elevator, or you're at a grocery store, or you're at a concert and it's hot and you can smell all the smells and the sounds, and you're getting this sensory overload, and you're starting to feel that kind of panic set in, and you're like, oh man. So you can also do the turns like this. Now the I pledge allegiance. Now we're going to go over here like this. Okay, so you're just, you're hanging out. No one's, they're all doing their own thing. No one's watching you. You can just discreetly rub here. People are going to be thinking maybe she's got a shoulder that's frozen, or who knows. But people aren't, they might look at you kind of in a moment, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is your time. So you're going to hang out here for a minute. And again, if you have your arm, what we're doing is we're just activating that vagus nerve and just letting it know, hey, it's okay to calm down. It's okay. And you can even tap as well. And you park here for a minute. So I have about 19 more seconds left in this location. So keep on keeping on. And you might actually start to feel yourself go ahead, and you're going to start feeling like you're getting more calm. Okay, 5 more seconds. All right, and now we're going to lock it in. So middle fingers over that bony province, and then your other 2 fingers are side by side, and you're just holding the skin taut. And you might feel stretch, in the tricep or even the bicep or all these muscles here. That's okay. Just lock it in. You can even breathe, and again, you're doing your thing, and maybe you're just hanging out. This is 30 seconds. All right, let's repeat that. Okay, you can tap or you can circle. This is also 30 seconds. So let's do it again. And see, my arms are already tired. They're like, oh, okay, I'm tired of this whole circling. So I'll just go ahead and tap. Just keep on tapping. I have a clock, so I'm watching, and I don't have any music, so you're just going to have to deal with the silence. The I pledge allegiance location, go ahead and activate that area. This is going to be for 1 minute. And you can close your eyes. You can breathe. You can say affirmations like, I am safe. I am okay. I am enough. You are safe. You are okay. You are enough. You're strong. You're resilient. You were put on this earth for a reason. You are unique, and you're uniquely designed to do something pretty amazing in this world. And you just gotta believe it. And it's okay if you don't believe that. But for right now, you're doing all right. Okay, so we're gonna lock it in again. Finger over the bony province. And you're holding the skin taut. And what you might even notice, like I am, is these muscles are starting to loosen up. It's because you're calming that vagus nerve and you're letting your body relax. And you're letting your body just say, hey, you know, it's okay. You can chill. Because our muscles in our bodies, you can go ahead and relax. And so the idea is that you would repeat that one more time. So you would do a series of 3. Now, let me tell you, if you are in a moment in the world, you can do this as many times as you want. You can park it. You might find that there's one section that feels more comfortable for you and it makes you feel better. Like this makes you feel really good. Also, this tapping point makes me feel really good, especially when there's fear. And I will tell you, it was the Hagrid ride at Walt Disney World, and I'm pretty sure it was Walt. Anyway, it was a Hagrid ride, and it was in the castle. And the castle, there was like these dark tunnels, and they kept twisting, and you didn't know when it was going to finish, and I had no clue. And all of a sudden, the walls just felt like they were caving in on me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to panic. Where are the exit doors? And there were no exit doors. You know, it's just like these dark hallways. Anyway, so if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And this is a very triggering thing for people. I did this tapping technique and it immediately brought my anxiety way down. And so this works in the moment, and we call it acutely. Okay, so I have used this for myself. I have taught this to others, and it has really worked and helped them. So this is my way of helping you. Now let's take this to the next layer. And so we're going to move into some emotional freedom tapping. And emotional freedom tapping, you can do the third eye. You can do on the side of the eye. You can come over the sinuses. You can do the point under your nose, the point under your lip, back to this point here. And then I call it the monkey point, which is you're just tapping under your rib cage like this. There's another point here, which is my least favorite, but I do it sometimes. And then the final point is up here in the crown for the solar plexus, okay? So you can tap here, here, over the sinuses, under the nose, under the lips, right here. The monkey. Now you can just do one side if you want to. Now this is more obvious. People would be like, what in the world is she doing? I don't ever do this in public, okay? I do this by myself in my office. And then you can do this point, and then you can wrap it up with on top of your head. Now listen, I did this point and this point only when I was in that line. And that worked for me. So what you're going to find, again, is that there are going to be certain points that feel best to you. And the whole idea is that we're tapping into the nervous system. We're tapping into the brain. We're letting your nervous system know it's okay. Even though you may feel unsafe right now, you are okay. Because in anxiety, there's something that you're afraid of. And it could be a trauma, it could be triggers, but whatever it is that's deep down, and it can be deep in the roots of our subconscious, we have to kind of unravel that and work through it. And this is one way that you can do that. And so I really hope this was helpful for you. And with the tapping like this, you can do affirmations. And usually the affirmations are something like, even though I might be afraid of this thing, I know I'm strong and I am going to get through. Or even though I've got this daunting task and I feel overwhelmed and I want to quit sometimes, a part of me may even want to quit. But there's the other part of me that wants to fight and keep going. And that's the part that I want to rise to the top today. And, so you can say all sorts of things, but you want to just kind of give it to, and even though you feel this way right now, end it with some sort of positive affirmation or something that's going to affirm your greatness and affirm your brilliance and how wonderful you are. And that anxiety, it totally sucks. It sucks. I hate it too. And it's just, sometimes you just wish it would just go away. And life is so beautiful and perfect and wonderful, and you're a part of that. And I just want people to go through that in the best way they can. And anxiety can control a lot of people. So I hope that this video is helpful. And tap away and be calm and be still and know your goodness. I'm Dr. Lexi, and this is how you get your spark back.